The world has about 10 weeks of wheat supply stored. Famine, anarchy, order ab chaos. All right, order out of chaos, man. This is your brother Ricardo Bar. All right, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah. Okay, and I want to jump right into this lesson. All right, Lord's willing is edifying. Okay, but yeah, man, as you can see by the title, this lesson is entitled 10 weeks. All right, is what a food insecurity expert, okay, is warning the United Nations that is how much wheat supply the world has left, man. The world has 10 weeks of wheat supply left, okay? And this is what a food insecurity expert, all right, has warned the United Nations, okay? Now, what I'm going to do in this lesson, man, I have several articles, all right? But if I was to go over each and every single article, this lesson would take entirely too long, okay? So I ultimately will put the links in the description box, okay? I'll put the links in the description box, man, but I want to grab several very important key points from those articles, all right? And we'll go over those, man. But understand that a food insecurity expert has warned the United Nations that the world, man, the globe, okay, has 10 weeks of wheat supply left, okay? That's about 2.5 months, okay? You have to ask yourself, what is going to happen after that? What's going to happen when we run out, man? Because as everybody has been warning about the food shortages, okay, the United Nations, the World Health Organization, all right, top U.S. ambassadors and U.S. senators have all been warning about the food shortages, man. The fact that we are at a level 10 as far as how concerned we should be with the food shortages, okay? Why, man? Because Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah, okay, is bringing about a massive humbling to the planet Earth, man. And that humbling is going to take place in a form of famine, okay? Which we are already in a famine, okay? Now, real quick, let's go ahead and look up what a famine is, all right? Because we are already in a famine, man. We're in one, okay? A famine is an extreme scarcity of food, okay? An extreme scarcity of food or a shortage of food, okay? So when they go out warning about global food shortages, man, and now we have 10 weeks of wheat supply left, all right, worldwide, what does that tell you, man? That we're out of food, okay? We are short on food, man, meaning we're in a famine, okay? We are in a famine, man, and there has been many things that have brought about this famine, okay? Many things have brought about this famine, man. Droughts, okay? Wildfires, a crippled supply chain, okay? A shortage of workers, primarily truck drivers, all right? Climate change, etc., man. And even that war over there in Ukraine is a main reason as to, a disruption to the wheat supply, okay, or to the exportation of wheat, man. Because when you understand it, Ukraine and Russia account for nearly 1/3 of global wheat exports, okay? Ukraine and Russia combined account for nearly 1/3 of global wheat exports, okay? And understand that wheat is being prevented due to Russia's Black Sea blockade from being exported, okay? So that wheat is not being exported, man. You see that? Because of the war that's going on over there, and Russia ultimately is blockading the Black Sea, okay? And we understand that Russia is a big exporter of oil, okay? So and that's why we're also in a time of a global energy crisis, okay? They're warning of summer blackouts, okay? And rolling blackouts, man, to conserve energy, all right? You see, all of these things, okay, are set to occur at the same time, man. But at the same time, okay? Why? Because Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah told you that he would bring, all right, these times upon the earth in the form of famine, destruction, the sword, man, and pestilence, okay? Which is why you have the newest pestilence out dealing with the monkeypox, okay? You had the newest one out, man, dealing with the monkeypox, okay? Which they've reported that cases have they found cases over here in the States. You see that? So all of these things are surmounted, man. And what you're about to find out is that as the last remaining supply of food dwindles off these shelves, okay, anarchy, man, is about to erupt in these streets. Okay, sheer anarchy, man, is about to erupt in these streets. All right. And matter of fact, you see that in Peru. Okay. You see that going on in Peru, as well as I believe it's let's see here. Yeah, man, in Peru. Okay. Due to food, man, due to soaring food and fuel prices, okay, you have riots that are erupting in Peru. Okay. And there was another place that, was also amongst the food riots, but it's not coming to mind right now. Okay. But nonetheless, man, best believe that this is coming to a state near you real soon. Okay. Real soon, man. They're deploying the army to control the violent protests that are erupting. You see? So that's the reason why it's titled Famine, Anarchy, Order Out of Chaos. Okay? Because this global famine has been engineered, man. Best believe it, okay? This global famine has been engineered in many ways, man. And so with the disruption to the supply chain, okay, you're going to have many more countries, okay? You're going to have first world countries that are going to be experiencing the same eruption and anarchy that's taking place in some of these third world countries, okay? The world has 10 weeks of wheat supply left, man. And this is what a top expert is warning, okay? So I'm going to grab some of these, I'm going to grab this article. I do want to read through one of them because it has a lot of good information in it. All right. I'll put the rest of the articles in the description box. And, we're going to grab some precepts, and Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. Okay. So first starting off, man, I want to show you, this video. Okay. Now it's by this politician, Tucker Carlson. Okay. Which, some people are for him, some people are against him. Okay, we understand that, America, Babylon is divided. But nonetheless, man, there's a good, he does make a good point, okay? You can read this tweet that he sent out, but we'll just play a short clip of the video, and then we'll go ahead and jump into it, okay? Because ultimately, best believe that this engineered famine, man, is bringing engineered chaos, okay? They are bringing about the anarchy that is about to erupt in these streets, man. They're bringing this thing about. So let's go ahead and play this clip, and then we'll jump right into it.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson. Tonight, there are a lot of things going on around the world at the moment, but we thought we would begin tonight with a report from your own country, just to give you something a little different from what you've been watching every moment of every day for the past 3 weeks. On your screen are pictures from Brooklyn, New York. These are people waiting in line at a food bank. The queue stretches for blocks. It's what we used to call a bread line. Most of these people are not homeless or not addicted to drugs. Some of them have jobs. They just can't afford enough food. Very few living Americans have ever seen anything like this. It's been nearly 100 years since the United States experienced widespread food shortages. That's long enough that most of us have forgotten what it means. And here's what it means. If you want to make a society volatile, not just angry and divided, which is where we are now, but revolutionary and explosive, then you threaten the food supply. More governments have fallen to rising food prices than to any other cause by far.
You see that, man? He said if you want to make a society volatile, not just angry and divided, which is where we are now, but revolutionary and explosive, you threaten the food supply. More governments have fallen to rising food prices than any other cause. Hungry people are dangerous, okay? And this is the point, man. This is the point. Because best believe that these people, as you see happen in these third world countries, all right, this is about to happen in these first world countries, man. The same people, all right, The same people, man, that you see out here looting, rioting, okay, fighting back against the government in the prices of the goods, okay, are going to be the same people that's going to be doing that shit over here in the States, okay? And wherever you may live, man, this is going to take place worldwide, all right? And that's what you have to understand. More governments have fallen to rising food prices than any other cause. And we know that the prices of these goods are skyrocketing. Why? Because of inflation, man, which is really turning into hyperinflation. And that's when you grab the precept in Revelation 6:6, okay? Which I grabbed it in the last video, man. Revelation 6:6. All right. It says, and I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. The oil going into understanding and the wine representing this truth, man. So see that thou hurt not this truth. Okay. Because Yahweh Basham Yahweh Shah has to get this information out. Okay. By way of his prophets. All right. But it says a measure of wheat for a penny and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And a penny, as we went over, represents a day's wage, man, in ancient times, okay? That word goes back to denarius, okay? So a measure of wheat for an entire paycheck, man. This is what we're coming to, okay? This is what we're coming to, man, because of hyperinflation and a shortage of good and really a shortage of wheat, which is what, all of these nations are. This is the main concern dealing with all these nations. Okay. A measure of wheat, a loaf of bread for an entire paycheck, man. Hyperinflation. Okay. And this is where we're at, man. Many governments have fallen due to rising food prices. Okay. Which I'm going to show you dealing with history. Okay. Because as we understand history, all right, is doomed to repeat itself, man. And when you go into the French Revolution, one of the main catalysts for the French Revolution was bread, okay? It was literally bread, man, and the rising prices of bread. You see that? Which I'm going to grab, I'm going to grab a small snippet from this article, which I'm going to leave in the description box, okay? But coming to show you, man, that yes, hungry people are dangerous, okay? And this is what's about to happen, man, because this anarchy, which let's grab the word for anarchy real quick, is about to take place, erupt in these streets, man. It's about to erupt. All right. When you go into the word anarchy, it goes into a state of disorder due to absence or non-recognition of authority. Okay. A state of disorder. So a lack of order, man, due to absence or non-recognition of authority. Now, we know that when we go into scriptures, okay, 2nd Ezra 15:16 tells us that will happen. For there shall be sedition, okay, sheer anarchy, man. People doing shit in no regards to the government. Rioting, protesting, looting, okay, breaking into other people's houses for the lack of bread, which we're going to grab the scripture. All of those things, man, are prophesied. It says, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. You see that? So these nations, as you see happening in Peru, different third world countries, are no longer regarding their governments. You see that? And so that's why it's titled Order Out of Chaos is going to come after the anarchy, man. Because what are they beginning to do? Deploy the army, okay, where these protests are erupting. You see that? So this is what's going to happen in America, man, real soon. Canada, Europe, okay? This is about to happen everywhere, man. Because why? We are dealing with global food shortages and global food insecurities, man. You see that? And like I said earlier, when you go into Ukraine and Russia, they account for nearly 1/3, okay? Nearly 1/3 of global wheat exports, man, which are not being sent out, okay? And as we know, just recently, India, which is the world's second biggest wheat producer, they banned exports in order to take care of their own massive population. You see that? So, 3 of some of the top nations that export wheat are no longer exporting wheat, man. Okay. And that is why the food insecurity expert went out and told the United Nations, okay, that the world has about 10 weeks of wheat supply stored. So what do you think is going to happen when we run out of that wheat, man? We're reading it. We're reading about what's going to happen, man. Sheer anarchy. Okay. Sheer anarchy. This is Second Ezra's. All right. This is Second Ezra's chapter 16, verse 21. It says, behold, victuals, which are goods, okay, bread, eggs, milk, water, okay, so on and so forth. It says, behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. Okay, and this is how it's been for years, man. You know, you can go to the store and buy bread for a couple dollars. Okay, go to the these different fast food joints. Okay, go to McDonald's and get you a dollar burger or a dollar fries. Okay, you can go to Dollar Tree and get you dollar goods, which we see Dollar Tree went up on their prices. Okay, you can't even go to Dollar Tree and get shit for $1 no more. It'll be like $1.50. Okay, but you see that, man. Victuals have been so good, cheap upon earth, man. So everybody thought, that everything was just all good and, hunky-dory. Okay? But guess what, man? It says that they shall think themselves to be in good case. And even then shall evils grow upon earth. Sword, war, famine, and great confusion. Okay? And a lot of people are confused, man. They have not an inkling in the world of what the hell is going on right now. Okay? They have not an inkling in the world of what the hell is going on right now. It says, for many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine. Okay? And the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. Dealing with war, man. Okay? You see that, though? Many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine. Okay? Famine, man. That is about to claim a lot of lives of these people. Okay? All right? This is 2 Ezra chapter 15 again, verse 17. It says, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Why? Because of the martial law that will be enacted, all right, following, the anarchy that is soon to erupt. Okay? It says, for because of their pride, cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. Here's the point. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with a sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. You see that? So we're coming into some very, very, very trying and tribulous times, man. And because of the lack of bread, okay, because of the lack of bread, man, all hell is about to break loose. Okay? Famine, food scarcity, and the fact that a lot of people are not able to get food. A lot of people around, around the world, man, are already dealing with this hunger, which is why you have these riots and protests erupting. Okay? And, these Americans think themselves to be in good case. But guess what, man? Scriptures tell you, that when they think themselves to be in good case, then ultimately that's when all hell is going to break loose. Okay? So let's go ahead and grab and show you dealing with that article I mentioned, okay? Dealing with the French Revolution, man. It says how bread shortages helped ignite the French Revolution. Okay? It says when Parisians stormed the Bastille in 1789, they weren't only looking for arms. They were on the hunt for more grain to make bread. Okay, which I'm going to put this in the description box, but I'll just grab a small part from it. Okay? When you go into that article, it says, in late April and May 1775, food shortages and high prices ignited an explosion of popular anger in the towns and villages of the Paris Basin. You see, it ignited an explosion of anger, man. Because why? When people are hungry and deprived of food, they get angry. And that's when people turn into animals, man. And that's what's about to happen. People are about to lose it, okay? They're already doing it in certain countries, man. People are about to lose it. You see that? That's why the scripture just told us they're going to be breaking into other people's houses, stealing their goods, okay? It's going to be sedition, meaning anarchy in these damn streets. All right. Looting and rioting. Okay. Because of the lack of bread, man. And because of famine. Okay. It says over 300 riots and expeditions to pillage grain were recorded in a space of a little over 3 weeks. Okay. Over 300 riots. Okay. And expeditions to pillage grain were recorded in a space of a little over 3 weeks, man. So you see what's coming, man. Purge-like times are coming, okay? Purge-like times are about to take this place by storm, okay? All right. It says the wave of popular protest became known as the Flower War, okay? The wave of popular protest became known as the Flower War, man. So we see what we see what is going to happen. All right, because that's what happened in, ancient France, okay, dealing with the French Revolution. And that guy Tucker Carlson just said, if you want to, let's go back. If you want to make a society volatile, right, meaning you want them to do shit. You want them to react in a certain manner, okay? Ultimately, you want them to explode, okay? They've been pushing people over the edge, man, with this damn pandemic, the restrictions, forcing people to get the Vanessa or lose their job, okay? And all of these things, man. But when you threaten people as far as being able to feed their family, okay, and being able to feed themselves, that's when these people are going to lose it, okay? Straight up lose it, man. It says if you want to make a society volatile, not just angry and divided, which is where we are now, but revolutionary and explosive, you threaten the food supply. More governments have fallen to rising food prices than any other cause. You see that? Hungry people are dangerous, man. And like I said, read this article, which I put in the description box. And you'll see that was one of the main reasons for the French Revolution, man. You see that? So that's why I said, man, Yahweh is bringing a massive humbling to the inhabitants of this earth. Okay? And one of the main things he's doing that with is this famine, man. Because famine is going to claim a lot of lives, as you're going to see that, all right, in these coming months. Okay, 2nd Ezra chapter 6, verse 22, because this is what's about to take place, man. As the prices of the goods are skyrocketing, all right, okay, it's skyrocketing to insane levels. And Iran and different places are beginning to food ration. These stores and grocery stores are about to be completely emptied out, man. Completely emptied out. It says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. Okay, dealing with, agriculture, man. And these different farmers, okay, that plant these crops, okay. The U.S. is, ultimately prevents the farmers over here from even planting crops. And then when they do, they destroy these different factories and warehouses, okay. Why? Because they're engineering this famine, man, to bring about anarchy, right? So that then they can bring about the order out of that chaos. You see that? It says, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown. And we went over, dealing with droughts, wildfires, okay, climate change, all right. Many different things are bringing about the this famine. It says the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty. You see that? The full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty, man, because why? We're running out of food, man. They're ultimately engineering this famine, man, because, if they did things right down here, we have enough food to feed everybody, but they're taking that away, okay, because of this global reset, okay, and their agenda that they're pushing forth, man. One of the main ways to get people to react, okay, people will be docile to a certain extent concerning getting the Vanessa, okay, and having these different restrictions put into place, different curfews. All right. But when you threaten their food, you threaten people being able to eat, man, because, ultimately eating is a pleasure, man. It's a luxury, if you will, because, especially in, America, people eat down there, for everything, man. If you happy, you sad, you mad, you angry, people want to eat, man. No matter what you got going on, people want to eat. Okay. Go to fast food restaurants. And these things have been very convenient for people, right? Very convenient, man. But when that convenience and those pleasures are taken away, people are going to lose it. These are the same people who don't fast, right? They've never did a fast in their life, okay? They've never went without food, okay? A lot of these Edomites, man, you know, a lot of these people who are well off, man, they've never gone without food, okay? They've ate every single, you know, all 3 meals a day, okay, and snacks and everything else. Well, we're coming into some very hard times, man, where you'd be lucky to get a meal, okay? You'd be lucky to get a meal, man. And what's going to happen is it's going to get to the point to where they begin rationing the food that they have left, okay? And in order for you to be able to acquire those goods, you're going to have to submit to this new system, man. And that new system is going to be in the form of ultimately taking that the 1928, okay? Taking the Revelations 13 the Revelations 13, man, which you brothers and sisters know exactly what that is, okay? The previous lesson I just put out, all right? And that's why the UK is telling shoppers that they will no longer be accepting card or cash, okay? That is why Europe, a company in Europe called Walletmore, is developing the 1928. Sweden's, a lot of them have the 1928. Iran, okay, are beginning to ration food due to the increasing prices, okay, these inflationary prices, and they're beginning to ration food, all right, and having it in place to wherein their Iranian citizens have to adopt, all right, a biometric ID, right, which is ultimately, you know, your fingerprint, okay, your eye, okay, or like your facial recognition, in order to get goods, all right, like bread, milk, eggs, at subsidized, all right, or affordable prices, okay? And if you don't want to get them at the affordable prices, you're just going to pay an insane amount for them, man. You're going to pay, it's going to take you a whole paycheck to get a loaf of bread. This is what we just read in Revelations. You see that? So this is the stages that we're coming into, man. And we coming in hot. We are coming in hot, man. They're warned we have about 2.5 months left, okay, worldwide, okay, of wheat and supply. Okay? And when that runs dry, okay, when that runs dry, man, sheer hell is gonna break loose, man. Straight up. And that's why they made the Hunger Games, okay? Why do you think they made a show or a movie, Salakia, wrote books about it, called the Hunger Games, man? Because people are about to be out here fighting, trying to survive for a piece of bread, man. Okay? So let me go ahead and grab this article here. All right, it's called Apocalypse Now. Okay, and this was released a day ago. It says the alarming effects of the global food crisis, man. Yahweh Bashmi Awashah told you this would happen, man, and we just went over many of the precepts, okay, revolving famine, all right, the food scarcity, and these inflationary prices, all right, and how many people on the earth are going to perish, okay, because they will not be able to get food, all right. It says apocalypse is an alarming idea, commonly taken to denote catastrophic destruction, foreshadowing the end of the world, man. So welcome, okay? Welcome to the end of the world, okay? It says, but in the original Greek, apocalypsis means a revelation or an uncovering. One vernacular definition is to take the lid off of something. So yeah, man, the lid is being taken off of all hell breaking loose, man. The lid has been taken off of a metaphorical volcano, meaning that all sheer anarchy and chaos is about to erupt in these streets, man, in a city near you. Okay? Why? Because of the lack of bread, man, and because of famine. All right. So let's grab a little bit from this, because this did have a lot of good information in it. Let's see here. It says, in fact, Bailey was talking as much about the drastic impact of Ukraine war-related rises in food costs and food shortages on people in poorer countries. All right. There's a major worry for the developing world as well. Sorry for being apocalyptic for a moment, but that is a major concern, he said. Yeah, we're living in apocalyptic times, man, because Christians told you this would happen. You see? It says, with most political and media attention narrowly focused on the emerging UK cost of living crisis, which is not, it's not just a UK thing, man. The UK is not the only ones who are dealing with a cost of living crisis, all right? This is really happening globally, man. Even over here in the States, every time you go out, all the prices of everything is higher. Gasoline, food, okay? You see that? It says Bailey's high-profile comments were timely and revelatory. Months of warnings about a global tidal wave of hunger rendered more urgent by Ukraine have been largely ignored, not least by Boris Johnson's aid-cutting government, man. And yeah, man, the Most High had the men of the Lord warn you about these famines, all right? And a lot of people have been ignoring these warnings. But guess what, man? We're coming into the months to wherein this shit is going to hit your ass in the face, okay? It's going to hit you in the face, man. Just like with the shortage of baby formula, that's about to have a lot of these women in a bad case, okay? What do you think is going to happen with food, man? Food is like people's number one concern, People eat food for like I said earlier, man, as a pleasure, However they feeling, it's like at least I can go and open my cabinet and grab me something to eat on. And then then I'll feel better. Well, we're coming into the days where that's not going to be the case, man. Like when you watch the show The Walking Dead, they go days at a time sometimes without having food, and then they have to go out and scavenge, all right, and get, to get some food, man. All right. These are the times that's coming upon the face of the earth. Okay. We're here, man. The famine is here. Okay. It's not a matter of it's coming or whatever. We are here, man. We're here. Okay. It says, sounding the alarm again last week, Antonio Guterres, the United Nations Secretary General, said Ukraine-related shortages could help tip tens of millions of people over the edge into food insecurity. You see that? Why? Because they are amongst, the major nations that export wheat, man. Ukraine. Okay? It says Ukraine-related shortages could help tip tens of millions of people over the edge into food insecurity. Wow. The result could be malnutrition, mass hunger, and famine in a crisis that could last for years, man. You see that? It says it increased the chances of global recession, which all of these things are on the horizon, man. We're on the precipice of all of these things, man. All right. It says, let's go now. It says the adverse impact of Russia's invasion on the availability and price of staples such as wheat, maize, barley, and sunflower oil. Ukraine and Russia normally produce about 30% of global wheat exports, has been huge, man. So yeah, that war that's going over there is a huge impact, all right, on wheat exports. Okay. Okay. Skipping down. I want to grab this. Here's a good point, man. It says middle income countries such as Egypt and Brazil are exceptionally poorly placed to cope with increased food insecurity. It says international risk consultants Varys Maplecroft said in a report last week, many governments had exhausted their financial and material reserves fighting COVID and incurred large debts. Okay. It says now the cupboard is bare. All right. Unlike low income countries, they were rich enough to offer social protection during the pandemic, but now struggle to maintain high social spending that is vital to the living standards of large sections of their populations, the report said. You see that? Because ultimately the middle class has been diminished, man. The middle class has been diminished. Okay. It says Argentina, Tunisia, Pakistan, and the Philippines highly dependent on food and energy imports, were among many other middle or lower middle income countries facing an elevated risk of civil unrest by the end of 2022. Okay? You see that? Let me reread that, man. Argentina, Tunisia, Pakistan, and the Philippines, highly dependent upon food and energy imports, were among many other middle or lower middle income countries facing an elevated risk of civil unrest by the end of this year, man. You see that? By the end of this year, many, countries are facing an elevated risk of anarchy, man. Of sheer hell breaking loose. Okay? You see that? That's the sedition we read about, man. They're not going to regard their governments. That's the article I put up, man, dealing with the French Revolution. Okay, this is what's coming, man. And this is this picture you see here actually took place in Sri Lanka. Okay, Sri Lanka, which was the other place that I tried to mention earlier. Okay, you got Peru in food riots and protests in this place, Sri Lanka, man, amongst some of many others, right? So best believe, man, we about to see some shit. Okay, as the expert warned, we have about 2.5 months, of a worldwide wheat supply left. When that shit run out, man, best believe these first world countries are going to be in the same conditions as these lower middle income countries, man. And they're going to be facing civil unrest by the end of this year. Okay? By the end of this year, man. This is it. Okay? It says, as the food apocalypse approaches, the poorest people will suffer as they always do, while the wealthiest may be insulated up to a point, but it is feared that the pain will rapidly move up the global food chain. You see that? With it is likely to come a surge in political turbulence, humanitarian crisis, instability, and geostrategic rivalries across a hungry world, man. Worldwide famine. You see that? You see that, man? It says scarce food combined with price increases, electricity blackouts, right? This black summer, okay? And shortages of petrol, cooking gas, and medicines provoked a political crisis in Sri Lanka this spring that serves as a discomforting template for countries facing similar problems. This is literally the preset, man. Okay? Due to a shortage of food, okay, inflation, all right, a global energy crisis, right, that provoked a political crisis in Sri Lanka that serves as a discomforting template for countries facing similar problems. Why, man? Because you're about to see massive sedition taking place, okay? Just like with the French Revolution in the city near you, man. You see that? It says months of protests culminated in the resignation of the prime minister. But even his scalp did not prevent unrest turning violent. Desperate Sri Lanka obtained a bridging loan from the World Bank last week to help pay for essential imports. Okay, see, everybody needs food, man. When you got major nations that export these goods that are not doing it, okay? And many other things that has crippled the supply chain, okay? It says on Thursday, it defaulted on its debt for the first time ever, man. Which, guess what? The U.S. was warning that they'd have to default on their debt. So you see what can happen, man? You see what can happen when nations have to face, okay, a shortage of food, okay? And along with inflation, man, and a shortage of energy, okay? It prompts all hell to break loose, man. You see that? Yeah, like I said, a good article, man, a good read. And I'll put these articles, all of them will be in the description box, man. But yeah, we're here, man. We are here, and I don't want this to be too long, but I do want it to be to the point. So with that, I'll grab this final preset, okay? This is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 16. It says, cut off the sower from Babylon, okay? And him that handleth the sickle in the time of harvest. So the Most High is cutting off these nations from providing exports to Babylon, right? The U.S. is not getting them goods, man. And neither, is all these other countries around the world, okay? The Most High is cutting that shit off. He's disrupting the supply chain, man. It says cut off the sower from Babylon. What does a sower do, man? They ultimately deal with crops, right? And him that handleth the sickle in the time of harvest. For fear of the oppressing sword, they shall turn everyone to his people, and they shall flee everyone to his own land. And we are seeing that perfectly dealing with India, man. Because of the food crisis that's taking place right now, India is no longer exporting wheat, yet alone oil, man. Why? Because they turning to their own people, okay? They have to take care of their own, man. And so you understand that times wherein everyone will be looking out for themselves in a brutal, animalistic like manner is what's taking place, is what's hitting this place by storm, man. Okay, so like I said, man, famine is leading to anarchy, all right, which is going to lead to them bringing that order out of chaos, okay? And that's when they'll begin a food ration, okay, and ultimately set up their new system, man, their new payment system, okay? Which if you've been following the narrative, right, you look into the World Economic Forum, all right, you see that they're pushing these things towards the central bank digital currencies, all right, which will be on that 1928, man. And if you want to be able to, get food, get these goods, and participate in this society, this fallen society real soon, man, you will have to submit to their system. You see that? But with that, I'm going to give all praise unto Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah. All right, and shalom to the next one.